Shaky, 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 shaky. Hi, it's Kiki. Welcome to my reading vlog. It is the summertime and I have nothing else to do other than read. So let's record myself doing some reading to hopefully inspire me to stick with it and get off my phone. Once I finish cleaning my room, I plan to finish Maurice by E.M. Forster. Is the book that I'm currently reading right now. I'm on page 119, so I have about 100 pages left. It's going very well so far. I actually love this book a lot. The writing is actually incredible, and I have a ton of lines highlighted and marked up in this book. It was originally written in 1914. It's about gay British boys kind of discovering their sexuality, tackling the world in, 1914, where it is very, very dangerous to be gay. So let's get into cleaning my room so that I can finally continue reading this, because it has been a few days and I definitely want to finish it so that I can get on to some other books that I have on my list to read soon. So I'll catch you on the other side. Wow, you can really see how dusty my mirror is. That's kind of nasty. But look at my Hello Kitty socks. Are they cute? We are clean and refreshed. Can I get a hallelujah? Ow! This is quite literally the most insane angle ever. I have 4 loads of laundry ready for the laundry machine. So in between loads, I'm going to be reading. Normally, I would read outside because that's what I've been doing. I've been reading in my backyard because, I don't know, I like reading in the heat with the sun. It just kind of helps me get sucked into the book, and not be distracted by other things in my house. But it is 95 degrees outside. Feels like 102. So I will not be doing that. Actually, I will be staying inside with air conditioning. And we're gonna see if I can finish Maurice. Okay, so quick detour. So I've been playing The Sims Free Play for the past 28 days, I think it is. I have a streak. And I just need y'all to look at her. And mind you, this is the only hairstyle for black girls. Like, it's the only natural hairstyle. It's this ugly little braids into this poop. Like this literal poop on her head. It's the only hairstyle. I wanted to make her bald. I literally could not. And then look at her face. That's demonic. She looks so ugly. And it's not her fault. That's the only face that's freaking available for the toddlers. So I've been dressing her up as a robot to cover up her face so I don't have to look at her. Started one of those rearrangements that affect the whole character. It left him with the conviction that his grandfather was convinced one more human being had come alive. He had accomplished an act of creation, and as he did so, death turned her head away. So I just realized that I've been talking for like 15 minutes and I didn't record a single second. So, letting the frustration roll through me, let me reiterate what I was just saying. The thunderstorm was very, very therapeutic, but very freezing, so I did have a change of clothes because it's so cold now. I'm about 50 more pages through Maurice. I've reached part 4, which I think is the last part, and it's going very well so far. I did have a scare. There was a part in this book where I was terrified that some pedophilia was about to go down, but E.M. Forster has my back. He did not go down that pathway, as I was terrified. You know, with classics, with old books, especially with unconventional classics like this one, you never know what you're gonna get into. So I was very scared that some pedophilia was about to go down, but I think we're out of the woods. I think it's okay. I think we safely avoided it. Knock on wood. One thing I found very interesting about this book is, so the protagonist is Maurice, and he's, you know, discovering his sexuality. He's kind of figuring out his identity, and because it's 1914, that's not really a positive thing. He thinks of it as like a disease, and he's trying to like find a way to rid himself of it. And so he starts trying to find doctors to cure him of this disease that he doesn't know how to describe. Maurice describes himself as an unspeakable of the Oscar Wilde sort, which isn't funny, but it made me laugh. I was not expecting a Oscar Wilde reference in this book, but it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because this was a few years after Oscar Wilde's death, and in the same like area in the UK. So it makes sense that that would be like a pop culture reference at the time, which is so interesting to me to think about, but also so depressing to think about how queer people at this time didn't have any representation, anybody to look to, anybody to like reach out to help them, you know. This book is, I think, very important. I love reading about queer history because, you know, it's something that people don't talk about a lot, and I find it interesting that this classic isn't more popular than it is. I think it should be more popular. It's very well written. I think it holds a lot of historical significance. At one point in the book, Maurice does contemplate suicide because there's no one who loves him or understands him for who he really is. He feels so incredibly lonely. Really sad to think about that has happened to so many people in history, and it continues to happen to people in the modern day, you know, because they had no positive representation. They had no role models, no examples to look up to. The only person Maurice can reference is Oscar Wilde, who had a terrible life and ended up dying because of his sexuality. So that's not a very, you know, positive example. I'm interested to see how it's going to end because I have no clue. Yo, I was not expecting that. Like, I was not expecting that. I'm thoroughly pleased. Okay, I finished it. And I can say that I liked it very much. I don't know. I wouldn't give it a 5-star because, I don't know, there's certain things that I just didn't understand. just it being old language, it being British language, like British English. But I definitely would give it probably a 4.75. I love this book so much. It's actually so good and so enjoyable, and that was such a surprise. So a bit of like history about this book, because that's also very fascinating, is that E.M. Forster wrote this in 1914. He finished writing it, and he knew that he couldn't publish it. He never really planned to publish it. He just sent it to a few of his friends, got feedback from them. Throughout the years, he polished it with the help of his friends, and there's an afterword in this book called the terminal note, which is kind of like the author's note at the end that he wrote in 1960 about the book. Talks about never being able to publish it because it would very much ruin his career and be very unsafe for him. And he says, what is it? He talks about a certain piece of legislation that he hoped would be passed but didn't have confidence that it would, and so he resigned that this book would remain a manuscript. So after his death in 1970, it got published posthumously. Reading E.M. Forster's terminal note broke my heart because he seemed so, I guess, pessimistic about the fact that he never believed that this book could be published, because he never believed that Parliament or England would be able to change its heart and look at homosexuality as an acceptable experience of life, which to an extent is no longer true. Homosexuality is no longer criminalized in England. It's no longer, it's more socially acceptable, of course, not all the way. There's still a long ways to go. But I guess it's comforting to know that after his death, that this book can still be embraced. I think that it should be embraced more because it's beautiful. It's an amazing story and sweet and entertaining and very human. And I like it a lot. I love the way that he writes. I need to read his other, more famous books. There is a movie adaptation that was made in 1987, I think, that I've been meaning to watch for a few years. The way that I found out about this book was through the movie. Like a few summers ago, I was just looking up all the queer movies that I could and binge watching so many queer movies, especially like ones from like the 80s, because I just love 80s movies. There's some sort of, just like the ambiance of them is so entertaining and beautiful to me. But I never watched Maurice, the movie, so I was like, I might as well read the book first and then watch the movie. But I'm a little scared to watch the movie because it's like, what if it isn't good? Because it's like, I love this book so much that it's like, the movie has a lot to live up to. Okay, so now that I am forever changed and I will never be the same person again, it's time to move on to the next book. So instead of being a regular person and just choosing a book to read and reading it, I'm going to make things complicated. I still have 10 days on my loan of You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, so I don't have to start it tonight if I don't want to. So I want to read the first line in every book that's on my list right now so that I can figure out what I want. Okay, so this is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. Okay. I'm intrigued. So let me lay down the books that I have on my list right now that are on the dock. So we have You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Kweke Meze. Second one, American Royalty by Tracy Livesay. Next one, The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School by Sonora Reyes. Incredibly adorable. Like, I love this cover so much. They all seem very, very interesting. So I can't go wrong. Returning to Google, pick a number 1 through 3. Bubblegum, bubblegum in a dish. How many? I just need to go with my gut. So I'm going to read The Lesbianist Guide to Catholic School. Woo! Final verdict! I know that was so entertaining for you people. Okay. Goodest of mornings. I'm about to tailor the heck out of these pants. And by that I mean use scissors. Yeah, so I want to wear shorts with this outfit, right? Because it's 90 degrees outside. But I don't have the Bermuda shorts that I need for this outfit. I did the thing! And I talked and cut these for 10 minutes while not recording. So, yes. Here are my shorts. They're cute. They're decent enough. Yeah. I'm really annoyed. Hello. So, I went MIA for a little while. Just kind of like doing stuff all day. I went to Walgreens, Walmart, got a smoothie. So I'm feeling amazing. Did my makeup. I didn't read at all. So last night I said that I was going to start The Lesbianist Guide to Catholic School, which technically I did. I read a preview, so I read the like first chapter, and I was not feeling it just because that's a dead bug. And I was not feeling it just because it's in first person present tense, and I'm just not in the mood right now to read a book like that. It was feeling very juvenile, very childish. It is a YA novel, so that's to be expected. I just need to step away from it for a little bit, I think. I just have to be in a certain mood to be able to read first person present tense YA. It's giving throwbacks to the Wattpad days, so I just needed to take a break. So instead I read the first chapter of You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, which was very interesting. The book had a very interesting start. That's all I can really say. Tonight I'm going to see my friend in Into the Woods, so I'm excited to do that. I'm gonna try and get some more reading in, but really, it's a Friday. I'm just relaxing, having a good time. I finally cleaned my room, so I'm feeling very good. All my laundry is put away. Life is good. Life is good. I can't complain. I mean, I could, but no one's listening. Down and side to side, every inch of me is like, whoa, whoa. Got me feeling like, whoa. Bro, what the heck? Just ignore that. I'm back. It has been a few days. I went, like 2 days without reading anything. This morning, I got back into reading You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, and I'm now like 60% through with that book, and oh, I like it. Akwake Emezi knows what's up. Messy. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty is about this woman, Fei, who lost her husband 5 years ago in like a car crash right before or right around the time that they got married, and she hasn't been able to be in a committed relationship since. She hasn't been with anyone since. And the book starts out with her in her first kind of encounter after the death of her husband. And it's kind of about her recovery, her entering, the dating world again. So yeah, today I went to Goodwill. I got this little skirt. It's very cute. It was $9. I did not realize it was that much. A little jacket. It's got a rug-like pattern. And then I got 2 books. Yeah. The books on my shelf are very much judging me. So I got The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. I did not realize the author of this book is white. But yeah, I've been meaning to read this for a while. I've heard like a lot of people read this in school. But I grew up in Cowtown, so we did not read this in school. But I think it's a pretty important story about the woman whose genes, or whose cells, were used pretty much for the foundation of medical research and history and stuff. And then I got The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. I haven't read anything by Ernest Hemingway yet, but I've heard this one is one of his best, and I've heard it's sad, and I like sad. I'm gonna continue my night and get back to reading You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty and having fun. Chapter 17 was so intense, like my blood pressure is up. Okay, so it's been like an hour and a half. Like it's maybe 2 hours and I'm finished. Oh, it was so good. I want to wait until, like, I want to sleep on it, wake up tomorrow and write my review to figure out how many stars I want to rate that. But right now my initial thoughts are it is so good and it's very sweet. You know, it's a romance, but because of the messiness, because of how the beginning of the book went, I wasn't expecting it to be, you know, very like cutesy romance, but it really turns into the sweetest relationship, and it's an amazing read. And it was a very quick read. It felt really easy to get through. It did feel fast-paced. We didn't dwell on things too long, which I very much liked. Oh, I was reading at the end of the book, there were some like interview questions with Akwaeke Emezi, and the interviewer mentioned the word cathartic, and like it just clicked with me. I was like, yeah, this book is catharsis. I was really feeling with Faye, the protagonist. I was just like feeling everything she was feeling, and I really felt like all the ups and downs, you know. It was definitely catharsis because I feel so much better. I feel great. I feel nice and clean and ready to go on with my life, you know, after reading this book, which is amazing. Like it's a feel-good romance. And then the other word that I associate with this novel is indulgence. And I don't know how else I can really describe that, but Akwaeke Emezi in the interview said that they wanted to write a book. It's very messy, but that they wanted to write a book about characters who give in to their feelings, who do what they want to do, you know, do things because they want to. I know it's a stupid decision. It could very well be a stupid decision. It could turn out terribly. This could blow up on me. But I'm gonna do it because I want to. And that is a very freeing feeling. Sometimes you forget. You're so caught up in surviving and doing what you're supposed to do. Like, it's giving Mistake by Fiona Apple. I want to make it a mistake. I want to do it on purpose. It's given I'm always doing what I think I should, instead of just indulging. Like, literally, this is a free world and you can do whatever you want. Like, yes, there are consequences. Yes, you should be courteous of other people's feelings, but it's like sometimes this is my life. I get to decide what I do with it. Faye went in there and prioritized herself. like truly. You know, they always say put yourself first, but do they mean put yourself first? Fei put herself first. And you know, consequences to her actions, things backfiring, yes, but you know, sometimes what if things go right? And I recommend it. If you're looking for a messy romance, if you're looking for a cute romance, if you're looking for some fun. The lighting in this room is actually the most garbage thing I've ever seen in my life. What is going on? Ah, we're in heaven now. Okay, so I'm back. It's the next day. It's Thursday now. It is already 7 p.m. so I haven't really done anything today other than my hair. I spent the entire morning and most of the afternoon just kind of, I don't know, being bummed out. I think I want to give You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty 4 stars, maybe 4.5. It's just one thing about the book that I don't like is I feel like it's too short. And at first that's nice because I was able to get through it quickly, but I feel like I wasn't able to form like a lasting or a really concrete bond with this book because of how short it was. The length of the book makes sense for the main relationship. I think it explores everything it needed to explore about the main couple, and since it is a romance book, that's kind of the point of the entire novel, is to see these two people get together and see how their relationship works out. We didn't get to see as much of the characters, you know? I would have liked to learn a lot more about Aleem and Fei because they were both very interesting characters, and I feel like I would have liked to read more of them, and I feel like if the book was a little longer, I would have been able to rate it higher stars because I would have felt more of a personal connection to these characters, especially Aleem and his past relationships. It would have been interesting to see. There's this one relationship that Aleem talks about at one point that was kind of a big deal in his life and kind of was like a blip in his relationship with his children. I would have liked to learn more about Fei's best friend Joy. Even I would like to learn more about, I forget the sister's name, Lorraine. I would like to learn more about her. She seemed like an interesting character that had a lot to her. I would have liked to learn more about both of Aleem's children. I just watched Lily Reed's July reading wrap up, and she mentioned the author Joya Joffney. It was a different book. I forgot what the book was called, but it was another more recent book that she released that Lily Reed's liked a lot and rated at high stars. So I have a feeling that I will like this author. So I do want to read Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. But I'm going to read the preview to see if it's something I feel like spending $10.99 on. Okay. Updated news. First person present tense. Okay, this is hard to get through. We're gonna do it though. So 9 pages in, and we're already hitting too close to home. But our main character is a girl who's grown up in a predominantly white school. And that is me. Me is that. Mark my words, if I end up crying during this book, I'm gonna be pissed off. Because I think it could happen. Number 9. Carter is kind of antisocial. He doesn't typically hang around the white kids at school, which means he doesn't have many friends. I only see him talk to Olivia Thomas. Every time I see them laughing together, it makes me wish I had black friends too. That's so rude. Why are you writing about me? I already graduated high school. Like, I thought I didn't have to live through this again. What is going on? Bruh. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Okay, so things are going well. I'm about 74% through of Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. I love this book a lot. Quinn is actually an amazing character to be immersed in. She's one of those like perfectly flawed characters where it's like I totally understand how she ended up this way, and I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for her to become better and to face her fears and all that stuff. Like I'm really on her side. And my favorite character, there's this girl, Olivia Thomas, aka Livy, and she is like my favorite character like ever. I don't know why she resonated with me so much. Like when I'm reading this book, I imagine like how a movie adaptation would go in my head, and in my movie adaptation in my head, I'm the one playing Livy, so that's the reason why I like her. Because I can see myself like acting as her, which is funny because she's not that similar to me at all. But I just love her so much that I like want to be her. But yes, Livy is an amazing character. She's an amazing friend. She's so cute and funny. Oh, she's amazingly funny. And then on the other hand, Carter. Oh, he's perfect. I have nothing bad to say about him. And I don't know why, but like there haven't been any like queer characters in this book yet, which is like rare. I don't be reading books that don't have LGBT characters in them. But in my head, I've headcanoned that Auden is a trans guy. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I'm imagining the movie, and I'm imagining who I would cast in these roles. I would be Livy. There would be actual teenage actors playing Carter and Quinn, and then we'd get a cool trans actor for my Auden. That's all I want. Destiny! Yes, Destiny with a stupid spelling. Ugh, ew. But I'm imagining Destiny and Gia, like, in my head. I know exactly the kind of girls they are, because they're the exact kind of girls I went to high school with, and I just know their exact, shade of foundation, and how they put foundation on their lips, and how their hair doesn't, like, match the tone of the spray tan, like, skin tone, like, not me being shady. Wait, guys. Let me back up. I really should go to sleep, but I might continue reading for a couple more pages. Good morning. It's 10 a.m. I slept a total of 4.5 hours, and then I woke up and finished Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. To confirm, yes, I did cry. I was worried that I was getting too critical of books, but I think I've been just. I think I've been just, because this deserves 5 stars. Back to that video by Lily Reads. In her wrap up, she mentions how like adult romance nowadays always tends to be like marketed around the tropes, and it seems like the entire story is just about how to execute like this trope. Enemies to lovers, or like fake dating. Like the entire story is just going to be contingent on that trope instead of like actual plot. Like adult romance don't have plots like that, and I totally understand that, and I totally agree, because I've noticed that, because YA romance always seems to actually like care about a plot and care about like character development and stuff like that. That's what I felt like was missing with You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. It's like, yeah, their relationship has developed, but I don't know, it doesn't feel like there was actually a plot carrying the story along. But in Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry, it feels like the relationship just kind of flows with the story because there's something actually going on. Quinn is learning to face her fears while being blackmailed, the stakes are high, and that just adds like an extra layer to the story that makes it so interesting and so hard to put down, because it's like, oh, what's going to happen next, and less of, oh, are they going to get together, which is nice to have. There is a bit of closure that we never got. Now I'm starting to think, what happened to